Aisha stood in the small kitchen of her house, stirring the pot of lentils while the pressure cooker hissed behind her. It was Friday, her only day off, and she wanted everything to be perfect. Her parents and younger brother were coming over for lunch, and she had invited them with the hope of finally bringing peace between them and her husband. Her husband, Samir, was a quiet man. Too quiet, according to her mother. Too simple, according to her father. Too poor, according to her brother. But to Aisha, he was gentle, patient, and unexpectedly wise in his own silent ways. What she didn't know, what she had no idea of, was that this quiet, soft-spoken man wasn't who he appeared to be. She believed he was a junior assistant at a factory, a small job with long hours and average pay. He always left early and came home late, carrying the faint smell of machines and metal on his clothes. He lived like a man who was earning just enough to get by. She had no reason to doubt him. Today, however, would be different. Today, she would see the side of him he had kept hidden from the world. But that moment was still hours away. Right now, she was busy making sure her family's visit went smoothly. She desperately wanted them to accept her husband. She wanted them to believe in her choice. She had married for love, not status. But her family never saw beyond money. Samir came home earlier than usual that morning, dusted with powder from the factory floor and streaks of grease on his fingers. Aisha frowned the moment she saw him. "You didn't change at work. My family is coming in an hour." Samir smiled softly and washed his hands at the sink. "I wanted to come home early, to help." Before Aisha could answer, the bell rang. Her parents had arrived. Her mother stepped in first, scanning the small, cozy house with a subtle curl of her lip. Her father walked in next, stiff and stern, followed by her younger brother, who was already scrolling through his phone. "Aisha Beta, make some tea," her mother said as soon as she sat down, not even greeting Samir properly. Her father nodded at him, but it wasn't a warm nod, it was the nod a man gives to someone he considers beneath him. Samir didn't react, he was used to it. He had been used to it long before he met Aisha. Her brother scoffed the moment he saw Samir's stained shirt. "Bye, you came home from the factory like this. At least clean yourself before meeting guests." Samir's face remained calm, but Aisha felt her cheeks burn in embarrassment. Her stomach twisted. She wanted her family to respect him, just once. Samir quietly went to his room to change. The moment he left, the criticism began. "Why is he still doing such low-level work?" Her mother muttered. "Aisha, you could have married far better," her father said. "You deserve someone with ambition, not someone stuck in a dead-end job," her brother added. Aisha forced a smile, hiding her discomfort. "He's trying. He's hardworking," her mother snorted. "Hardworking? A hardworking man succeeds. Does he look successful to you?" Aisha's emotions tightened like a knot. She felt the pressure building inside her, the pressure to defend her husband, to defend her choice, to defend her marriage. But her family's words were sharp, and they were cutting her confidence in half. By the time Samir stepped back into the room wearing a clean shirt, the atmosphere had already changed. It wasn't warm, it wasn't welcoming, it was judgment, and he felt it. Samir tried to help Aisha in the kitchen, but her mother's voice cut sharply. "You, leave the kitchen. These things are not for men who come home dirty." Aisha felt something inside her snap. Her mother shoved a bucket of dirty water toward her. "Throw it outside, and don't let your husband walk around with those greasy hands. We are not labor-class people." Aisha took the bucket, her heart pounding with frustration, humiliation, and anger, not at Samir, but at the situation, the pressure, the expectations, the constant criticism. And when Samir stepped closer, offering again, "Aisha, I can help." Her mother glared. In that tense, suffocating moment, Aisha turned abruptly, and the bucket slipped slightly from her grasp, splashing dirty water across Samir's shirt. The water hit him hard, brown, murky, smelling faintly of mop detergent. The room fell silent. Her mother gasped in satisfaction, as if justice had been served. Her father looked away, pretending not to see. Her brother smirked, pleased that the factory worker brother-in-law had been put in his place. Aisha froze. Samir stood still, water dripping from his collar and sleeves, his face unreadable. The humiliation was deep, deeper than any of them realized. "Aisha," he said quietly, "was this necessary?" His voice wasn't angry, it wasn't loud, but it carried a weight that filled the entire room. Aisha's lips trembled. I didn't mean." "No," he interrupted gently. "It's fine. He took a slow step back. Her mother huffed. If he had just stayed out of the way. Samir looked at them all one by one, his expression calm but his eyes holding something new, something firm, something unshakable. Tomorrow, he said softly, I will show you who I really am. Her father frowned. Her brother scoffed. Her mother rolled her eyes. Aisha's heart dropped. Samir, what are you talking about? He didn't answer. He simply walked into their bedroom, changed into a fresh shirt again, and left the house without another word. The door closed behind him quietly. But the storm he left behind was only just beginning. Aisha stared at the door long after he was gone, her throat tight, her eyes stinging. Her family continued talking, but she heard nothing. All she saw was the look on Samir's face before he walked out. The look of a man who had finally reached his limit. And she had no idea how drastically everything was about to change the next morning. The next morning arrived with a strange heaviness in the air. Aisha had barely slept. She kept replaying the moment she threw the dirty water, her own hands, her own anger, her own weakness. The look on Samir's face before he left haunted her like a shadow stuck above her head. He hadn't come home that night. Not a call, not a message, nothing. Aisha sat on the sofa, her foot tapping impatiently, her eyes fixed on the door, waiting for any sign of him. Her parents were already awake, acting as if nothing unusual happened. Her mother sipped tea loudly. Her father read the newspaper. Her brother scrolled on his phone without care. But Aisha couldn't sit still. Her heart felt like it was beating outside her chest. At 9 a.m., her phone buzzed. Samir, bring your family to Zafar Industries. At noon, no explanation, no emotion, just an order. Her hands trembled. Her father raised a brow. Why does he want us there? Aisha swallowed. I don't know. Her mother scoffed. Probably some drama. Her brother laughed. Maybe he's begging for his job again. Aisha felt her chest tighten. They didn't understand. They still didn't understand what last night had done. Her heart whispered, something big is coming. At 11:30, they reached the massive gates of Zafar Industries, a place Aisha had visited only once during a workers' family event. It was the largest factory in the city, with hundreds of employees and multi-million production lines. Today, it looked different. The entrance was being swept twice. Security guards stood at full attention. Managers and supervisors were lined up near the inner gate. Her father adjusted his cap nervously. Looks like someone important is visiting today. Workers whispered as they walked past her family. Owner Araha Hai. Board meeting Be Hai. Pak K Log Sab Line Mine Lagay Hain. The owner. No one had ever seen the owner. Not even Aisha's father, who had worked there for 14 years. The identity of the owner was the company's biggest mystery. Aisha's heartbeat grew louder. Why had Samir called them here, on this particular day? Her stomach churned with dread. At 12 o'clock sharp, a shiny black luxury car rolled through the gates. Every worker straightened instantly. The managers bowed slightly. Supervisors folded their hands respectfully. Security saluted. Aisha's family stood confused. Her father whispered, must be the owner. Her mother mumbled, finally. Let's see what kind of man runs this place. The door opened slowly. A polished leather shoe stepped out first. A man emerged wearing a perfectly tailored charcoal black suit, his hair neatly set, his presence commanding. He looked nothing like a laborer. Nothing like a junior assistant. Nothing like the man Aisha had left crying in her living room last night. Her breath caught in her throat. Her mother gasped loudly. Her father's eyes widened. Her brother stepped back. The man walking toward them was Samir, but not the Samir they knew. This Samir was sharp, confident, powerful, the kind of man who didn't seek approval, he received it automatically. The factory manager rushed toward him. Good afternoon, sir, he said with deep respect. Her father blinked. Sir. Aisha felt the world tilt under her feet. Workers whispered, Owner Agaya, Wo Deko, Owner Ye Hain. Haimine Pata B Nahi Chala. Her mother's mouth hung open. Samir looked straight at them, calm, composed, unreadable. The manager cleared his throat, addressing all the workers present. I want everyone to meet the man behind Zafar Industries. The person who has silently run the company for years. Our owner, Mr. Samir Zafar. Gasps, shock, silence. Everything froze. Aisha's eyes filled instantly. She could barely breathe. Her mother stumbled backward into her father's arms. Her brother stared like his soul had left his body. Samir walked closer, his eyes never leaving Aisha's. So, her mother whispered desperately, You're the owner. The whole company is yours. Samir finally spoke, his voice deep and steady. Yes. Her father swallowed hard. But, you said you were a junior assistant. I never said that, Samir replied calmly. I said I worked at the company. You assumed my position. Her family lowered their heads in shame. Aisha stepped forward, voice trembling. Samir, why didn't you tell me? His expression softened slightly, but only slightly. I wanted to know who loved me without my money, he said. I wanted a wife who valued my heart, not my bank account. Aisha choked up. And yesterday, Samir looked straight into her eyes. Yesterday, your trust in me broke. Because of pressure, because of their words, he gestured at her family. They judged me without knowing me. And you chose their judgment over your love. Aisha's tears spilled. I didn't mean to, I was stressed. Samir raised his hand gently to stop her. You threw dirty water on the owner of the company your entire family depends on. But that's not what hurt me. He paused. What hurt was knowing you were capable of humiliating me, to please others. Her mother clasped her hands. Beta, we made a mistake. Samir turned to her with cool politeness. Yes, you did, but your jobs are not in danger. I'm not vengeful. Her father immediately stepped forward, tears in his eyes. Sir, Samir, please forgive us. We misjudged you. We spoke without respect. Samir nodded once, firm but not cruel. What I want, he said, addressing them all, is simple. Treat every person with dignity. Whether you think they are rich or poor. Respect should not depend on a bank balance. Her family nodded repeatedly, ashamed. Then Samir turned to Aisha. She looked small, fragile, broken inside. Her lips trembled. Samir, please, give me one more chance. He stared at her for a long, heavy moment. Do you love me, Aisha? The real me, not the version your family approves of. She covered her face and cried. Yes, I love the man in simple clothes and the man in this suit. I love you. I made a mistake, but don't leave me. Samir's stubborn mask finally melted. He stepped closer, wiped her tears with his thumb, and whispered. I didn't reveal the truth to punish you. I revealed it so you could see the difference between respect and status. Aisha nodded, crying harder. So, Samir said softly, shall we start over? She threw her arms around him tightly. I'll never let anyone come between us again, she whispered. Samir smiled faintly and held her close. Behind them, her entire family bowed their heads, finally humbled. And for the first time, they truly understood the man they had underestimated. A man who was not defined by clothes, salary, or status, but by the strength of his heart.